Hiya and welcome to the Groovy Sleep Train. If this is your first time watching me, then you can go ahead and subscribe for more relaxing sounds and videos. I wanted to make an acting related video today for you because it's really been on the brain for me recently. I've just been working on a feature film. I got a part in a feature film and it's just been very clear to me recently of having to balance, an acting career and also being relaxed at the same time and being in the best mindset you can be to work properly. So I just thought I'd share that with you today. There's also a podcast for the film that I'm working on. It's called Hollywood Boulevard, and I was actually in one of the podcast episodes, so I'll leave the link to that below, as well as like our Twitter and Facebook and Instagram account. I think we have Instagram. Do we? I don't know. But I'll leave all those links below if you want to go find out more about the film and listen to the podcasts. Our director, Ross, he has an incredibly relaxing voice, and you never know, you might like it as well. And there's like hours of podcast of him chatting with his dulcet Yorkshire tones, so I advise you on checking it out. 5 audition tips. Although this doesn't necessarily have to be for auditions, it could be an interview, a meeting, a date, basically any sort of event or date in your diary that kind of puts you on edge, that stresses you out for some reason. And these are things that I've learnt to do or started to do in order to help me cope with auditions, because that's a kind of stressful situation for me to be in my life. So, number 1 is sleep. Sleep is massively important. If you can, get a good night's sleep, okay? Do whatever it is you need to do to get a good night's sleep, whether that's, take a bath, have a cup of hot milk, listen to, your favourite album, do it. Whatever you can to make sure you have a good night's sleep, because sleep will always be your friend and it will always help you. So what I do, my guaranteed good night's sleep, is I will have a bath about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I'll start getting ready for bed about 9, so I'll like brush my teeth, wash my face, change into my pyjamas, go into the bedroom, and then from 9:30 till about 10:15 I'll watch an episode of something on my laptop, whatever sort of series I'm into at the time, whether it's like whatever it is, Breaking Bad, whatever. Insert any TV show you're binge watching at the moment, close brackets. And then about 10:15, I'll watch a couple of YouTube videos for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And you have to be really strict with yourself on that one. Like, I'll watch a relaxing video, or I'll watch like 2 like vloggers videos, and then I'll watch an ASMR video, and then I turn my phone off, or I put like a long meditation on, and then put my phone to the side, and then my phone has to be like out of my life and it's there, and then hopefully fall asleep by about 11. The thing is, if you can't fall asleep, as long as you sort of try and relax your body and your mind as much as possible, you'll hopefully still feel the benefits of rest, even if you don't fall into a deep sleep. So I notice the difference if it's been a night where I've been awake all night, tossing and turning, getting angry that I couldn't fall asleep, or if it's been a night where I couldn't really fall asleep but I kind of accepted it and just tried to relax, and I wake up feeling fresher in the latter situation. So number 2 is meditation, which is something that I do every morning or before every audition. There's a great set of meditations that an American acting coach called Jo Berman has, and I'll put the link to her website below so you can check that out. She has a set of 4 meditations and they are fantastic, like absolutely fantastic. Like I can't even describe like how and why they're so good, but there's there's a morning meditation, which you're supposed to listen to in the morning of your audition. That's supposed to like uplift you and get you sort of being the best you can. And then the second one is a waiting room one, for something to listen to while you're in the waiting room. And then the second two are ones to listen to after your audition. So one for if you think you nailed it, and one if you think you totally screwed it up. And the ones that I feel are most important for me are the morning ones, the waiting room and the morning. So every morning without fail, I will listen to the morning meditation, get myself feeling really good in the right state of mind. The waiting room meditation, sometimes I'll listen to that like on the way to my audition, like in the when I'm like on the bus or on the train or while I'm walking, as well as in the waiting room sometimes. Number 3 is decide what you're gonna wear beforehand, and don't leave it till the last minute, because sometimes that can panic me if, you know, I can't find what it is that I want to wear, or the thing that I wanted to wear needs washing, or it's not ironed. And so I plan what I'm going to wear like the day before or a couple of days before. It's actually part of my preparation for the character, and you know, my general audition preparation is that I will always decide what I am going to wear. So hopefully I shouldn't have a kind of what am I going to wear sort of meltdown before I have to leave the house. And I know it might sound like really simple, or maybe even a little bit, I don't know, superficial, that I might worry about what I'm going to wear, but you know, that is an anxiety for me that may happen. So I can sort of limit whether that's going to happen and how big it may happen, then that's a good thing. So number 4 is kind of like routine / I always have a peppermint tea before an audition. So this has become part of my audition routine, is that I always have a cup of peppermint tea before an audition. Any audition, wherever it is, always have a cup of peppermint tea. And now it's become a routine. So now when I have that cup of peppermint tea, I immediately associate it with feeling calm, feeling better, refreshing me, putting me in the right mindset, having something warm and comforting before I'm about to go in to an audition. So it prepares me mentally and physically. So if the audition I have to go to is not far from where I live, then I'll have a cup of it at home. And if not, I'll basically find a coffee shop near where my audition place is. If I've not been there before, I'll like Google it, find the closest coffee shop in walking distance, and I'll leave plenty of time. I'll leave myself to arrive like an hour beforehand, so I can go find where the actual audition place is, and then go to the coffee shop, have a peppermint tea, relax for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then go to the audition prepped and ready. And this has become part of my routine, you know, and I'm a person who finds comfort in routine, and because auditions is something, it's quite tangible. You don't know what your experience is going to be like, but if I know that in the morning I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, it makes me feel ready for that tangible situation that's coming afterwards, if that makes sense. It's like being prepared. And then number 5 is something that I talked briefly about, but is time. Is just to make sure you leave yourself enough time, because chances are you're going to feel a little bit nervous anyway, or at least, you know, a bit like the adrenaline's pumping. You're going to feel a little bit something, right? And feeling like you're pushed for time could just be that one little thing that makes your morning turn into a stressful one rather than a chilled out one. So I make sure I leave enough time to get ready. I make sure I leave enough time for travel, and you know, whether there might be delays, traffic, if you're driving, like you might struggle to find parking, like any of those sort of tangible things. I just make sure I leave time for them to happen. And then also time for if you do have some sort of wardrobe meltdown, some sort of what am I going to wear situation, and you've got extra time to actually figure out what you're going to wear and come up with a new plan. So if anything crops up, any obstacles crop up from the point that you wake up to the point when you walk into the waiting room and sign in and go into your audition, any obstacles that might crop up in that window of time, you are ready to deal with it, because you know you're not in a rush and you know you can handle it, deal with it, find a solution, and then carry on your way. And I know this could be a bit difficult, like say if you've got an audition at 9 a.m. and you need to travel for an hour to get there, it could end up being really early. Now that's a judgment call on your half, like that has happened to me before, and I've just, you know, had to work around it, or I've done something like, instead of driving, I took the train so that I could sort of relax on the train a little bit, or do my meditation on the train. I kind of like work around it like a jigsaw, you know, put the pieces together in a different way if you can't wake up, you know, at 4:30 in the morning, if that's not physically possible. And then the next thing is number 6. I'm going to throw in a number 6. I'm going to be cheeky, throw in a number 6, which is, and all of these things that I've just mentioned kind of culminate into this core ideal. I've got it on my post-it here. But basically, casting directors, the ones who audition you and, you know, decide whether you're right for the part, and if so, put in a good word with you with the directors and the producers. Those people see a lot of people in their day, and it's funny because a lot of them function on gut and instinct, and sometimes they base their decisions on like a feeling that they get, because they need to make a decision quite quickly. So, you know, there might be a situation where you come in and you're perfect for the part, you look the part, the way you show the character, your dynamics within the character is like spot on. Everything can be spot on, but you could have just been in a bad mood that day, or you could have missed the bus and you got annoyed that you missed the bus, and you walk in with this sort of tense energy of your morning. It can be just that fine line to make the casting director go, yeah, like she was great, but something just didn't feel right. And what it is they're just picking up on your like your sort of bad energy of whatever annoying thing happened in the morning, but that was enough to make them think something didn't feel right instinctually, and maybe you as an actor is not the right decision. So it's really important to have, you know, a sort of positive state of mind, come in with positive vibes, positive energy, and, you know, do these things in the morning that create a situation where you can truly be yourself. You know, it all comes up to the point to create a mindset within yourself so that you can feel like you can be yourself in that room and be, you know, the whole you, not jarred by any, you know, mundane problems in life, and you can just show yourself, and they can look at you, understand you, and decide whether that's right or wrong. I think it's really important, and going hand in hand with that, the conversation that you have with the casting director when you walk in is really important. You know, you got to be positive, you got to be friendly, talk to them on a human level. You know, they're just a human being like you and I are. Talk to them on a human level. You don't have to see them as this superior sort of being that's got all these, you know, cards in their pocket and you have to try and impress them. No, just like look at them as another human being, and don't, you know, judge them in any way, and be open and willing. And you know, there's a quote, a Bryan Cranston video I saw of him chatting after a awards ceremony. He's like in the wings of like a theatre or something, and he's saying that the day that he realised, when, you know, thinking about, oh, what's the casting director going to think? Is this the right thing? Or why didn't they choose me? And oh, I hope it's this, or I hope there's not too many people in the room. Thinking about all that stuff was just getting in the way of him doing his job. So he said the day when he realised that his job is to just embody a character creatively and, you know, truthfully as possible, and find the truth within the character within him, and not focus on any of the other stuff, he started booking more jobs and getting more auditions. So I always remember that, you know, when in doubt, just think about Bryan Cranston. He's the man. And then another thing, this one kind of like, it's a bit silly, but it's something that I've started doing recently, which is with creating those positive vibes. There's physical ways in which you can do that as well, is in that I wear different perfume depending on different characters or different audition pieces or different people who I know are going to be auditioning me. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's basically like, you know, you're talking in a friendly way with friendly tones, positive tones. You have an upbeat energy about you. You look upbeat. You look positive. You're not like drowned by the mundanity of life. And then you know, you have a good handshake. So, you know, that physical contact is good. You have a good handshake. And then the other sense is smell, is that you smell good. And then you're hitting all the senses, which subconsciously tell the casting director that, you know, you're a good person, you've got positive vibes, you know, that whether you embody the character, you know that they're a person that you can work with, if that makes sense. For example, like I auditioned for a French film a couple of years back, a French feature film, and the director and the casting director were both coming over to London from Paris, and I wore Chanel Coco Mademoiselle because I was like, well, you know, they're French and I'm going to wear, you know, this is a very iconic perfume, I'm going to wear Coco Mademoiselle because maybe it'll make them feel comfortable, or like it might give us a subconscious sort of rapport without even trying to, you know, because sometimes people tap into smells subconsciously without even realising it. Anyway, is that everything? Have I covered everything? I think I have. Oh, one more thing I was going to say about clothes, planning your outfit. Okay, so there was the same audition when I went to London for the French film. It was in the middle of summer and it was really, really hot, and I knew I was going to have to get the train to London from Manchester. I was going to have to take the tube for a few stops, and I was going to have to walk, and it was going to be hot. So what I did was I wore a different outfit on my journey, and the dress that I wanted to wear for my audition, I put that on when I was in the coffee shop having my peppermint tea. And it just meant that I wasn't, you know, feeling self-conscious about being hot, sweaty. I wasn't, you know, my clothes didn't feel sticky on me. And that little bit of forward planning, like, made my audition go so much smoother. But yeah, that's everything. I hope that was helpful. I really meant it to be, and all these things, they are applicable in different situations, and the links to things that I mentioned, I'll put them all below. So the podcast for the feature that I'm in, and our Twitter and Facebook, I'll put the link to Jo Berman's website for her audition meditations. She is fantastic, and hopefully there's something here that will help you. So I'll see you next time.